Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? It's your brother from another, Marlon Rashawn Graves, aka Brother Mays, in the house. You already know my better half.
Hey, y'all, what's good?
It's that voice that you just seem unknown, right? Hey, listen, we got a special guest in the house right now, and of course, if you're seeing this familiar face, all y'all local favorites, it's Matt Rush. That's right. I got the man himself, Matt Rush, in the house. Man, how you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. Just it's one of those things where I said for a minute, I said if I get this brother on, I feel like I'm doing something good. At the end of the day, y'all, Matt Rush represents the Ozark Lunkers. That's our arena league team that has been in existence now for almost what
Going in the third year. Going in
third
the
year,
third
right?
year. Yep.
Third season, and of course, with that being said, this is all about scoring for the right reasons. The reason why we're talking about it because we're not just talking about football. We're talking about what happens off the field.
Mm.
And Matt has agreed to come on the show, and what a better time when football season is going on.
Yeah.
And of course, divisional playoffs or divisional championships are coming up this next week. And you know, I got to ask you the question, man, who you going with?
That's currently in it.
That's currently in it.
Man, that's tough because my team ain't in it.
Your team ain't in
My
it.
team ain't in it.
My
So
team at home too, man.
yeah,
I ain't
my
gonna
team
lie.
at home. So it's hard to choose one, but man, if I had to choose one,
Right.
I think I gotta go with the Pats.
You know, I want to go with Drake May. I just not ready to call him a champion yet.
You know, my heart wants to go with the Pats, but my head is telling me it's gonna be the Rams.
With Matt Stafford.
With Matt Stafford.
I think this is it.
I think he'll go out on a high note. I think
That part. I
he'll
like
get
that.
him one.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know, with all this new betting that's going on in Missouri, man, I'm think I might have to take your pick.
Man, hey, it's a good one. It's a good
I
one.
hear you. I hear you. You know, we're talking about everything scoring for all the right reasons, and Matt, I think a lot of people they know what you've done at least so far with the Ozark Lunkers. If I can just give y'all a quick introduction, this young man comes from. I'm gonna say it right, Amory, Mississippi. And of course, coming up to Springfield, he's been a couple of places, but you probably know him more for his accolades at Hillcrest High School, representing the North Side. All right, I got to give it up for him because I'm a Central grad. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, he came out of high school around about 2010.
14.
14. See,
14.
I'm dating him. I'm dating him here. Yeah, 2014, and he was all that in a bag of chips. Now, I have to be real. I was down in Miami, Florida at the time, and I remember my boy was telling me, man, you need to hear about this dude named Matt Rush. I was like, why is that? And they said, he reminds me a lot of you. And I'm like, huh? What you mean a lot of me? Like, you played a lot of positions.
Quite a
You
few.
stay on the field.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
And at 5'10" by 165?
By 165 coming out, yeah.
Coming out, man. And a lot of people don't realize 5'10", 165, that's that break. That's that break. You just under it. But if you fast enough, you in the right place at the right time, you know, you got some people looking at you.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanna start this whole interview off with this young man coming out of Amory. Am I saying it again? Amory,
Yep,
Mississippi.
you got it.
Because we were talking off air about some of the things that, you know, he know, I know, Tupelo and all that. Talk about that transition, my brother.
Man, I'll be honest. It was tough.
Yeah.
You know, transitioning from Amory, Mississippi to, you know, at the time actually that I came up here was Fort Leonard Wood. You know, my dad was in the military.
Right.
You know, I was young, so didn't really understand much of what was going on. But you know, leaving Mississippi behind, I'm like, man, what am I going to? You know, and it wasn't until later it really hit me that you know things were different. You know, what I was seeing was different. What I was a part of was different. What I was going through was different. You know, back in Mississippi, you know, I look back on it now and I joke with people all the time. They ask me if I'll ever move back.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I don't think that's
you don't think so?
That's not on the playing cards for me right now, you know. And not because of any specific reason, but you know, growing up there, you know, you see the same things.
Yeah.
You see the same people.
Yeah.
And at the time you don't know what you don't know, but you know you don't want to be one of them.
Well, you know
what I mean?
You know, it's funny because when we talked off air, I said I go through Tupelo a lot when I go back to Florida, and because I just love to drive. And the key things that I identify with, you said Elvis Presley, with Tupelo, and I'm sitting there saying the Toyota plant,
Yeah.
you know. And at the end of the day, it's funny because Mississippi is a lot of small towns that are connected some kind of way.
Some kind of way.
Not just by a boundary line. You just got somebody over here, somebody over there. And then when I look at it from a sport aspect, you know, football, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy down there. So coming here, military, your dad, Fort Leonard Wood. I mean, and there's a lot of people. I went through that. My stepfather was through Fort Leonard Wood.
I'm a military
All
child.
military over there
military,
too.
military.
Like, cause your mom's in Guam, right?
Yeah, she's retired Navy, but my stepdad's still active duty.
There you go. There you go. So here he is. We got some brats here.
Yeah,
military brats.
yeah.
I mean, that transition now. You get to Springfield, and you was talking about your middle school years.
Yeah,
man, PV. Park?
PV.
I mean, Pleasantview, right?
Pleasantview.
Man, I have to be honest, man. I never liked Pleasantview. I was a Pipkin guy.
Yeah.
I just and it wasn't about sports. It was about a girl that I was trying to date at the time. It was back
A
in the day.
little deeper than sports then.
Little deeper than sports, man.
Yeah.
But you talked about PV, but you talked about Carthage.
Yeah.
Kind of blend that together for us.
So yeah, you know, my dad, like I said, my dad was in the military. We ended up moving to Springfield my 6th grade year, and you know, we moved to north side of Springfield, and obviously the only school really on that side of town is PV. So I ended up going there 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then my dad was like, "Man, we gotta up and move. We gotta go." What? You know, and at the time, you know, you don't really understand what's going on. You question.
You didn't
it,
get a chance to make a lot of friends.
No, you know, you question things, but you don't really know. So you know, for me at that time, I'm just mad because I'm leaving behind what I had just did at PV. But you know, my dad, he had bigger plans in mind. You know, obviously you don't know at that age, but transferred to Carthage, went there my freshman year. Had a decent time, you know, played football there, played basketball, did all the things, and I actually left again. So left Carthage and ended up going back to Fort Leonard Wood, went to Waynesville.
Waynesville, yeah.
Went there for a semester. Didn't like it, hated it. If you want to be real,
I played with some guys from Waynesville.
Yeah.
Just be real.
You know, it wasn't, you know, for me. So at that point, you know, the second semester kicked off, and I was back at Hillcrest, where I should have been all along in the first place. So
you represent them Hornets, right?
Yeah. I'm a Hornet.
It's all good. It's all good. So there's a lot of transition going on.
A lot of transition.
We talked off air, and we talked about, you know, the origin of this show is geared around gun violence, a reduction, at least how we all started. But you didn't really have to go through that. You didn't see that. But there's a lot of other pressures that you went through.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about that, because you were becoming this athlete at Hillcrest that, you know, at least from what I heard, everywhere you turn, it was about you. So now you that guy. What all that pressure on you.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Man, you know, at the time, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, if you know anything about me, if you know me personally, I don't like to be in the limelight.
Well, see, that's the other question I was going to ask you, because you're not that guy off the field.
No, that's not me. You know, I don't like to be the center of attention. You know, I'm pretty reserved and quiet by nature, and so, you know, when all these things start to happen, you know, whether I'm getting recognized for this or that or getting this accolade, I'm like, man, I love it. Like, it's fun. But at the same time, I don't want the recognition. Like, I don't want to be known, because that's just not who I am. So a lot of pressure came with that. You know, people expect you to act a certain way, to move a certain way, to do a certain thing. There's this expectation that people put on you that you don't put on yourself, that you're just like, man, like, can I just be me? You know?
I know what the feeling.
And so it's tough at first. And, you know, over time, you know, as I've gotten older, you know, I've still dealt with some pressure of, you know, played with the Lunkers, was the first signee with the Lunkers, and, you know, that's pressure in itself.
Well, you know, I'm gonna get to that part, because there's there's some other things that happened. I mean, you were probably one of the first in a long time, and, you know, bouncing up a few years here, because you and I don't want to say you were in the footsteps of DGB, Dorian Green Beckham. I mean, he had already set the precedence of, you know, we could have an athlete, you know, that could be nationwide known and do good.
Yeah.
He comes out, he's at the University of Missouri at that time, and next thing you know, here comes, you know, Matt Rush. And people are saying, and what I remember saying, you know, can Hillcrest get back to that level? But then when you see what you did, the time you was on the field,
Yeah.
the things that, and I heard off the field, and I said, well, man, this guy's he's really that guy.
Mm.
But how do you transition that? And of course, we talked about you get this scholarship, you go on to play at Missouri State
Yeah.
University, and Missouri State University, just be real, is not known for at least for the time frame that I saw, they were not known for recruiting a lot of players out of Springfield.
Mm-mm.
What was the difference about you?
I wanted to make a name. I felt like I was known in the area, but I felt like I needed to do more in the community than I had done, you know. And staying home, staying a part of this community was important to me at the time. And so that's why I chose to stay. You know, I had a lot of other, you know, opportunities to leave Springfield and go elsewhere. I had Tulsa, Wyoming, SEMO, Northwest, you know, all the big FCS schools at the time. But for me, it was like, man, I got a support system here in this community. I got friends here. I got family here. I got all these things here. I want to continue to make them proud in this community.
You talk a lot about your dad and your siblings,
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Were you the oldest?
I was.
Yeah. That's enough responsibility by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that you were the oldest, you had to set this new precedent for your family. An example, you go in your freshman year, and the way I remember, great season, but then you got hurt.
Yeah.
What happened?
So fall camp rolls around, and you know, coming in as a freshman at Missouri State at a D1 program, you don't expect to. There is no expectation.
Right.
You know, you just want to go in, do what you can, do the best you can, and hope that, you know, everything plays out. And so I remember having a one-on-one meeting with, at the time, Terry Allen, who was the head coach.
Yeah, Coach Allen.
And I walk into his office, and you know, there was word of me playing both offense and defense because at the time when I came in as an athlete.
Yeah.
But me, I only knew offense.
Right.
You know, I played some defense in high school in emergency situations, but I only knew offense, man. I need to have the ball.
Playing quarterback half the game, playing run.
Yeah. I only knew offense, man. So he brings me in and he's like, "Hey, are you ready to start defensive back for me?"
Right.
And you know, at the time, I'm a little nervous. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, obviously, but you know, I don't. That's not why I came here. So long story short, man, I started defensive back at Missouri State my freshman year, and you know, we play, you know, I think we played Oklahoma State the first game.
Yeah.
First game.
Wow.
My coming out to welcome to college football was at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And you know, Tyreek Hill played for them at that time.
I remember.
You know, they had some pretty big hitters at the time, and I'm a freshman, true freshman.
Right.
So I played that game, and a couple weeks ago,
you guys were on ESPN too for that game.
Yeah,
I watched it. I remember.
Yeah. So play that game, and then I think we come back home for the first home game in the new stadium, and you know, we're all juiced up. We're in new black uniforms. Everybody's excited.
Right.
And I think we ended up actually winning that game 44-0. And I remember vividly, man, September 13th, 2014, 44-0, fourth quarter, 6 minutes ago. And, you know, they ran a toss to the opposite side. And, you know, backside corner, you gotta go.
You gotta go. That's right.
So I went because that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And I ended up making a tackle, and, you know, my momentum took me around. I tried to brace myself, and there it was, man. Freshman season over with. Four games in.
Stuck in the turf and going the opposite way.
Yeah, 4 games in. Freshman season's over with. So I take a red shirt. You know, a lot of times I still think about that moment and regret going and trying to make a play.
Because if I'm not mistaken, and I remember this very clearly, there were talks that you having the season that was expected after seeing you play a little bit.
Yeah.
You're the starter. You're this guy. There's some things that they could build around you playing that position. But then this injury happens. And I'm a coach.
Yeah.
Played ball. We talked about this. I've had my moments. I used to tell guys when I used to recruit them, at the time when I was at Baker University, if you could choose a school based upon that first day experience, going into practice, or first week, Everything's great.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden you get hurt. Now you got to go see the doctors.
Right.
Doctors are telling you this, telling you that, but then it ain't looking good for you.
Right.
Is this the school that you want to stay at and graduate from? Because now, and because we talked about this off air, football is not the same now as it was 10 years ago.
No.
The opportunities.
Mm-mm.
When you were in that position, you had a lot to ask yourself, answer to yourself. What was going through your mind?
Well, one, I became less motivated.
Okay.
Obviously, the one thing that I thought I had going for me was taken away at the time.
Yeah.
At that time my identity was in football. So once that was taken away, I'm like, man, what do I do? I didn't want to go to class. I didn't want to do all these things.
Yeah.
And so man, that was tough.
Yeah. How did that make you feel as you're the oldest of your siblings?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure your dad had particular, disciplines that are already in place.
Right.
What were you answering to?
Man, at the time, man, there was a bunch of question marks.
Yeah.
I felt like I let the people that I stayed here for down.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wasn't playing, so I couldn't please anybody. Because again, I thought my identity was in that. So man, there was no motivation to do anything because I couldn't play football.
Gotcha. This is actually some real talk, guys. Because here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, and we're gonna come back to this after this next little commercial break. But I just want to remind people, if you're just joining us, I got Matt Rush. Matt Rush, wide receiver for our local Arena League team, Ozark Lunkers. First player to be drafted to the team or brought onto the team and selected. We're going to talk more with him. We're going in talking about scoring for all the right reasons. This is Brother Mays. That's Jayce Janae. This is the Lock and Loaded Show. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, once again, it's your brother from another, Brother Mays, Marlon Rashawn Graves, government name. We back. This is a hot show. Jayce, would you say it's hot?
Yeah,
it's getting hot. It's getting hotter.
I mean, y'all talking a lot of football terms. I'm not really hip to, but I'm here with you.
I appreciate it. Hey, listen, we gonna break it down here a little bit. We're gonna get a little carnal a little bit. I got Matt Rush from Ozark Lunkers, Arena League football team here. Man, it's a pleasure. And we were talking a little bit off air earlier, and you were discussing even before the break about you felt like you let some people down when you got hurt. And for those that don't know, Matt Rush is that guy. He is a well accomplished man in football and out of life. But you talk about family and letting them down when you got hurt as if you owed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
I remember earlier you talked about your high school friend or your girlfriend who was also your supporting cast and now your wife.
Yep.
What was that like for her and you at that time? Because I'll be the first one to tell you, a lot of times when we go through these type of things, we lean to our girlfriends and everything. I mean, what was she saying to you during this time?
Obviously, they hate to see you down. They hate to see you going through pain, but
Mhm.
the type of person she is, man, she's uplifting, encourager, supporter, cared, loved, all the things. You know, she didn't let me stay down as much as I wanted to. She wouldn't. She wouldn't do it, man. It wasn't. It's not in her nature to stay down, so she
And
wasn't
was
gonna
she an
let me be
athlete
there.
too?
She was an athlete.
She was?
But you know, she was raised the right way, and
Oh yeah, now
the
hold on
most
now.
the
Hold
most
on now.
determined person I know,
You
man.
say the right way. There's a lot of ways to
There's a
get
lot of ways,
to get there.
but what I mean by
Yeah.
that is, she's a go getter.
Okay. I like that.
That's what I mean. She's a
Okay.
go getter, man. She's determined. You know, I'll give her a little shout out just because I feel
Yeah,
like I need
please.
to, man.
By all
Of
means.
course, of course.
She's in leadership at Mercy. She's the youngest by 10 years.
Don't play.
You know what I mean? Like, she's a go getter.
Yeah.
She's a go getter. So I you know, knowing that I had that in my corner, I could stay down.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Nice.
You know, shout out to Mercy, your
Yeah.
wife and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, because support is very important. And I remember my days supporting. You know, if I couldn't talk to my mom, couldn't talk to my uncle, you know, my best supporting cast at the time. You know, if I come to, I said, who could I talk to? You know, here's the thing that when I knew he was coming on the show, I wanted the youth to really understand because here it is, you transition through MSU, play your years, and I want to gravitate to this already. There was some time off.
Yeah. A lot of time.
You took some time off, man. Athletes, in a lot of cases, when you're playing ball, you don't take that much time off. What happened to say, I want to not only walk away from the game, but was there opportunities where, hey, you know, maybe I should try it over here? Should I try over there? I mean, I remember my days. You know, this ain't about me. But at the end of the day, what was going on in those years before what I saw 3 years ago? This brother that came on the field looking quicker than everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, what was going on?
You know, I stayed in shape. You know, I think you always, as an athlete, have the hope in the back of your mind that you could potentially still accomplish your dream.
Right.
You know, I had a couple of tryouts, CFL, that I attended that, you know, probably could have, you know, made something out of it had COVID not come around.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people like
I
to blame
remember.
things on that. So
Yeah.
that
COVID ruined my last season. So
yeah.
That's because
COVID-
that was the senior year you was
senior year of
senior year
college.
of
College. Wow, yeah.
Right.
COVID ruined a lot of things for a lot of people, and so
Right.
you know, that hit, and then my chances of CFL were kind of
Where did you
out the
go?
window.
Where did you try out, if you don't mind me asking?
So I went to Nashville and tried out for Winnipeg.
You went to the combine for the CFL?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what happened with me.
And then I went to Indy and tried out. They had all the teams there, so I went up there and tried out for that, and
That's
then
what's up.
heard back from Winnipeg, and then COVID hits.
Wow.
And so, you know, obviously they're not bringing anybody over. I don't even think they had a season over there. And so at that point, I'm like, man, I think that's my sign to just go do something else.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I kept working out, kept doing other things. And then Trout, my guy Trout, he had reached out to me.
Now you talking about? Now I know a couple. I know a Trout here.
Zach
I grew up
Troutman.
with.
Zach Troutman.
Zach Troutman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's one of my mentors, man. Somebody I've looked
Yeah.
up to for a while. He coached me in high school, actually, so that's how I know him. He reached out to me and was like, hey, there's an opportunity to at least stay in shape. Because he still believed that I could go play, you
Right.
know, and talk about support, man. Talk about people believing in
what's up.
you. That's one guy that's never not believed in my ability. And so he hooked me up with Queen City. I played for Queen City for a
Queen
little
City,
bit.
Yeah.
You know, I was coming up on the end of being done playing with Queen City when the Lunkers were about to roll around.
Yeah.
And so they came out and you know, my wife, she, you know, being who she is, she's like, why don't you just go try out?
Right.
You know, and
for a lot of people, not to catch up, for a lot of people don't understand, you know, the Arena League is one of those leagues where you can have a day job or you can have a night job, whatever the case may be, play your season, but then you go back to your job.
go back to your job.
It is what it is. But here's the thing, because there was a lot of speculation that that season, was not going to work out. And I knew Matt Burgess, who's the owner,
Yeah.
obviously, and of course Coach Brotha. Buffett, good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, that's how I actually first met you.
Yeah.
So he calls me. I'm coaching at Central. And, you know, my first year, he says, "Hey, I need some help." I was like, "What?" He says, "We're going to be trying out these new guys for the Arena League team." And I was like, "Okay." I said, "Just let me know." Tells me it was a Saturday. I come over there, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, this brought back a lot of memories because I went through a similar
Yeah.
process. At the end of the day, we have a couple guys out there, and one of the things that they were doing was running the length of the field back and forth in a 7-minute time frame.
Yeah.
Here comes Matt, walks in. I'm thinking, okay, this is Matt Rush. Heard a lot about him, read a lot about him.
Yeah.
But you get out there, and you was just as dynamic as some of these guys that were just coming out of high school or coming out of college. And I'm thinking, he ain't lost a step. Bruh, that day I said to brother, this is real talk. I said, you signing him, right? you signing him, right? And he said, don't worry, we good. I believe it was 3 days later.
Yeah.
They signed you.
Yeah.
You were the first lunker.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I got issues with the name. I'm just gonna be real.
You ain't the only one.
But I understand it. It
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It's an Ozark thing.
Well, can we get a little bit of explanation on that? What is a lunker?
So
You wanna do it? Go ahead.
I'm not I'm not from here originally, so I don't want to insult anybody that,
No,
that
you
watches
good.
the show. But from my understanding, it's just a big fish.
Okay.
So
All right. Big fish.
You see?
now,
You see what?
yeah, it's not a specific
I
type of
didn't even-
fish.
I
It's
didn't
just
even
Represent.
see
I
that.
represent.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all good.
It's just a big fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a big fish. I tell people it's an ugly fish,
yeah.
but with a hook in his mouth every now and then. But no, it is what it is. But here's the thing: the representation and the fact that you're the first player representing so many different things, so many different icons. I mean, I'll just be honest. Here it is, first Arena League team.
Mhm.
Because prior to that, there was at least two um, um, semi-pro teams in the area. I remember back to the Rifles, the
Mhm.
Rifles, and then Asylum, and
Yeah.
all the above. But even going there, here you are now with this team that is signing the first athlete, but a black athlete. I thought that was just significant within
Mhm.
itself. You're in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
This is considered a professional team.
Mhm.
Now that weight's coming back on you.
Yeah.
You're the eyes, you're the ears. You're the guy that when you say Ozark Lunkers, it's him. What was going on at that moment
Mhm.
that either said I'm back or now I got to take this round?
At that point, I'm a little bit older.
Right.
So I've had some experiences of dealing with set pressure.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I'm embracing it.
Yeah.
I all my focus is at this point is making sure that people know that they could be in this same limelight one day.
Gotcha.
Those kids that are walking the halls at Hillcrest.
Yeah.
My picture is on the walls at Hillcrest.
I know.
Knowing
I know.
that, oh, Matt Rush did it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, that's my goal. So it's not so much as pressure.
Yeah.
Being the first signee, being the first black signee. It's not so much as pressure anymore. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna strap up and I'm gonna just go.
I love it.
My
cousin, JaVale Tolliver, he played over at MSU.
Yeah.
Played lineman, offensive lineman, started out as defensive lineman, just recently graduated. And I remember going to one of his games at MSU, and what was so exciting about it is that you see these players today in college,
Mm-hmm.
and even for him, you are that guy. No matter what, you come off the field, there's kids walking up to you, they asking for autographs, they doing this, they doing that, and it makes me think of what at that moment in time you're empowered.
Mm-hmm.
You have so much you can give, and as you said, you're the guys at Hillcrest can see that you made it.
Yeah.
What's the message that you want every kid to understand? That's Matt Rush, but this is who he is.
Yeah.
What's that message that you want them to be transparent?
For me, I've always been, and I made. It's funny that you asked that question because I made a pretty long post probably 4 or 5 years back at this point.
Right.
Because I talked about identity earlier in the show.
Yeah, you did.
And obviously I have all these accolades.
Mm-hmm.
I'm known as, fast, a good
Yeah,
athlete,
yeah, yeah.
one of the best athletes come out of this area. But, what I want kids to know is that eventually one day
Mhm.
I'm not going to be able to throw the football no more.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to be able to juke people on the football field no more.
Mhm.
Like eventually one day all that stops.
Mhm.
Then who am I?
Yeah.
What will people say I am at that point?
Well,
That's why
no, go ahead. I'm
I
listening.
take my career as serious as I do,
Mhm.
being a family man as serious as I do, being a husband as serious as I do. I take every opportunity to talk to the youth and throughout the community. I'll take that 10 times out of 10
Mhm.
because it's more about being a good athlete or
I love
being
it.
the guy that was at Hillcrest or the guy that went to Missouri State on football. There's more to life than just that. So if my message could be anything, it could be don't allow your identity to be put in what you did on the field or on the court.
I love that. Matt, here's this question because you talk about identity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take you off the field.
Yeah.
Let's remove football.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Matt Rush?
A husband,
Yeah.
a father, a hardworking man.
Mm.
A lot of things I learned in football translate to what I do outside of it.
I saw an article, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
because you go to work every day.
Every day.
You work in the financial
So
industry?
I'm actually in medical sales. So I
In medical
transitioned.
sales. Okay.
But yeah, I was in the financial planning space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, because do you just introduce, hey, I'm Matt Rush, blah, 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 and somebody's looking at you like, yeah, I already know who you are, so we good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, does those conversations happen? Has that helped you in your work?
I wouldn't say so. Obviously I've had those conversations where I've
Right.
introduced myself and people were like, "Oh, I know who you are from the Lunkers."
Right.
You'll never hear me introduce myself as Matt Rush, Lunker football player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's I'm not prideful in that way. I
I
always
love that.
introduce
I love
myself
that about you.
as Matt Rush.
Right.
If you know me, you do. If you don't, I'm Matt Rush. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you might have seen me play and not known that that's who you were talking to. I don't want that to be known because again, my identity isn't in that. So I've definitely had those conversations, and I wouldn't say that what I've done has really. I would hope that because of who I was on a football field didn't help me elevate throughout my professional career.
I love that.
I would hope that what I did and how hard I worked, showing up on time every day, things like that. I would hope those things helped me elevate in my career.
I want to take you back on the field a little bit and somewhat still stay in the limelight
Yeah.
of life. We talked off air about players today with the NIL deals.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Let's go back a little bit.
Yeah. Man.
You at MSU, Mo State. You got these opportunities. Would NIL have changed you? Knowing what you know now in comparison, because what a lot of people don't understand, your name and your, what is it, your likeness, what's the I in between there?
Image.
There you go. Your name, your image, your likeness. Social media already has made some players more than what they are.
For sure.
We talked about this off air that, I was having this conversation with some players, and I said, yeah, 5,000 players in the transfer portal, and but half of them were cut from their teams before, which is why they're transferring.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have guys who are making on the top end $2 million, like a Mendoza, national championship quarterback from Indiana, and you got guys who are, hey, I'll take a couple 100,000, for doing local commercials, being that face and everything. It's changed the why in regards to an athlete wanting to do what they supposed to do.
Yeah.
Go out there and play the game, play the game and have fun. If that was you, do you think you could have handled the NIL?
Yeah.
Yeah. With your mentality?
Yeah, for sure.
I like to say that 100%. You could.
And it's easy to sit here in this chair and say that I could, but I know that I could.
Gotcha.
My personality and how I am today is the same way I was coming out of high school.
I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what I keep hearing from people.
Yeah.
We have the same barber. He goes, my boy T. Give you what's up, T. I'm just gonna call it what it is.
What's the shop? What shop?
What's the shop? It's at Louise's, old school.
Old school.
Old school. He's the barber over there, right off of Glenstone, North Glenstone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right before you get to the viaduct of the train.
Track,
the train track. The key thing is people like that ground you. When I was talking to him, I said, I didn't know you knew Matt. He's like, man, Matt been coming here for years.
Yeah.
And that's how he said it. That says something.
Yeah.
You stay local. You stay loyal.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, and again, I'm taking you off the field. You're a family man.
Mm-hmm.
You're a father. You see what's going on right now with the unrest in a lot of the cities and things are going on. What's it like trying to be stable as a father today, a young father?
Yeah.
And a husband today. What's the thing that you are struggling with the most? If you don't mind me asking that question.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great question. For me, and I'm sure every parent can attest to this, but it's I don't know how hard it was, 10 years ago. I'm a new parent, like you said, but for me nowadays, man, I look at what's going on and I'm like, man, I'm scared to raise my son in this world today.
And tell us why, if you don't mind me saying.
I think it's the exposure to things nowadays. There's a camera everywhere you go.
That part.
Kids are exposed to things that they ain't got no business seeing.
Mm-hmm.
My eyes can't always be on my son.
Gotcha.
And as a parent, as a father, I think that's what scares you the most. Is because they're not within your protection.
Yeah.
Like you got to rely on somebody else to have the same understanding, love, care that you do for something that's not theirs. And for me, it's like, can I trust you? Like, can I trust you to do that?
It's like dropping your son off or dropping your child off at daycare.
Yeah.
And I remember those times. I have 3 daughters and a son, and for the time that I was able to do that and be a parent and be responsible.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be real, and it was interesting that you say that, because I'm not sure if it was one of my players. He called. Yeah, it was one of my players earlier this year, and I remember him. We have this group chat, and we do, and he says, I can't come to practice, and I was like, what's wrong? He says, I gotta go pick up my brother. His brother's in preschool at daycare. He said, okay, that's understandable.
Yeah.
No problem. You gotta go pick up your brother. Well, it was the next day, and he says, the reason I had to pick up my brother is because we can't find my mother. That's real.
Yeah.
Now, as a coach, I'm kicking in going, as a parent, what can I do to help? What do we need to do? You know what I'm saying? And for about a split 48 hours, this kid who was 16 years of age was now went into adulthood, like overnight.
Yeah.
And he's like, what happens if my mom doesn't come back? What if we don't know what happened to her? These are the questions you had to answer. This is the reality. So now he's no longer a football player. He's not even, I don't even see him as whatever number or position he was on the field. I see him as this kid who now has to grow up overnight. And so the reality was, and this is one of the things I wanted to be transparent, I want you to be transparent with, is that because there was a time where you didn't know if you were going to play ball again. But now you got to be this man, you got to grow up in society. And a lot has changed in the last 10 years.
For sure.
So here we are, this show kind of goes into the origin of, we talked about gun violence. We talked about, just with youth in general. What message outside of football could you give kids, or just that young guy, even somebody like I experienced, that you may not ever see him again?
Yeah. I would say, being a young parent, I think you can always learn something from somebody. Age doesn't matter, race doesn't matter,
Right.
Gender doesn't matter. You can always take something from somebody. And so for me, I'd like to talk to young parents, old parents. Don't allow your kids to grow up before they're ready to grow up.
Mhm.
The situation you just explained, I think that's one of the main issues with today's world is that kids are having to grow up before they're ready to.
Yeah.
They're having to experience things in life before they're actually built to experience them. Um, so that would be something that I would say is that don't make these kids grow up before they're ready. Allow kids to be kids, man. That's why you see all these things with, in college football, kids are chasing money.
That part.
Why?
That part.
Why?
Yeah.
Man, you're supposed to be enjoying college, but you want to go find the next bag.
There was mentors, obviously, in your life. We talked about some different coaches. Who were your biggest influences outside of your coaches?
My dad. My dad was one. My grandma was another. I would say those are the two main. Full transparency here. My mom was in and out growing up, and so love her. She at the end of the day she's still my mom.
Right.
But I had my dad and I had my grandma.
Yeah.
And so those were the two that I wanted to make the most proud coming up.
And that's not often talked about. And I'm glad you
Yeah.
talked about your mom. I didn't want to kind of touch there yet because I knew you didn't say that too much.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when we talk about those influences, and just to be real, we don't talk about that. We talk about the influences of moms. We talk about the influence of grandparents, like you mentioned. But when dads are involved, there's a little bit of difference. There's a change there. And I know, Jayce, you talked about your father before, your stepfather, am I right?
Yeah, just him being in the military.
Being in the military and everything. Well, and even with that, sometimes we as fathers, we have this particular identity who we are in our profession. But off the field, it sounds like he was teaching you, your father was teaching you about life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And, growing up, there's things that happen that you just don't quite understand yet. And being a father today, I look back on some of those moments. For example, my dad I've scored a lot of touchdowns in my life. My dad has never clapped for any of them. I didn't understand that.
Really?
Being a 16, 17, 18 kid.
Now, how did you know that being on the field? Did he tell you
I'd
that?
look. Because again, though my dad and my grandma were the two people I wanted to make proud. So if I scored, I wanted to see that my dad was clapping.
Gotcha.
I wanted to see that he was proud. And it wasn't that he wasn't proud. It was that he knew how he raised me. And so he expected it.
It was expected.
It was expectation.
Okay.
And so growing up, I finally got the courage to ask, like, why did you never clap? He's like, man, I expected you to do that. And it finally hit me like, wow. So this whole time you were proud. You probably didn't tell me or do a good job of showing it in that moment, but you were. Like, you had this expectation for me at the time that I didn't even have for myself. You saw more in me than I did at the time.
Insurance was there.
It was there.
It's funny because they say silence is so powerful.
Yeah.
Now I know that wasn't the case with my mom. My mom, if I catch the ball and I'm on the way in the touchdown, she's running with me. Literally, she's running. But God rest her soul. It's funny because I picture. It's almost like, as you said it, I can picture you making that touchdown and seeing this proud father in the stand just maybe shake his head.
Yeah.
Just doing like that. Wow. You got some other siblings, obviously. Are any of them athletes? Were they athletes as well?
My two sisters were.
Yeah.
They were. They both ran track. My sister, my youngest sister is a cheerleader at Missouri State.
Okay.
And then my youngest is a nursing student at KU.
Okay.
So
all goal oriented. I can see.
All goal oriented.
All at KU, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in that backyard over there at Baker University.
Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes away. That's all good.
Yeah.
Jayhawk. So you find yourself being a fan now for them and cheering them on and all
of the
that?
Jayhawks?
Well, I'm just saying.
Nah, not really. She's just
really?
going to school, so it's a little different when you just go to school as opposed to if you was playing a sport.
I get you.
If she was playing a sport, maybe, but yeah, no, I can't cheer for the Jayhawks.
Well, you got the cheerleader over at Mo State.
I'm always cheer for Mo State.
Yeah.
I went there, so I'm always cheer for them.
That's different.
Yeah,
that's a little different.
That's a little different.
Yeah. A couple questions I wanted to ask before we get. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break. Matt, obviously, I got something I definitely want to ask you when we come back. Obviously, Jayce, you enjoying the show?
Yes, yes, I
Hey,
am.
listen. Hey, this is our 16th episode.
Yep, 16.
16th episode. We started out kind of rough, but
Yeah.
here we are. We got Matt Rush on of the Ozark Lunkers. Obviously, we're talking about scoring for all the right reasons, and we'll be back. You're on the Lock and Load Show. One. Hey, y'all, we back. Man, we about to end this show, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. I really could sit here and talk all night because I got Matt Rush. That's right. Ozark Lunkers wide receiver. We talking off air. We're talking about a lot of things dealing with life. We're talking about, the possibilities of what's going to happen next year. And not just necessarily as a player, but you talked earlier about you being the type of guy you are, you're always ready.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a player, we have somebody, I don't want to say a player, but if somebody right now is watching this and they look up to Matt Rush and they say, man, Matt Rush is that guy, what could you say to them to put reality in the forefront?
Yeah, for me, it's stay prepared so you don't have to get prepared. And
it.
I'm sure a lot of people have heard that saying, phrase, however you want to put it. But you asked me earlier about the time off that I took between college and playing with the Lunkers, and
Right.
I was able to do that because I stayed prepared. So that would be something I would say: stay prepared so you don't have to get prepared.
Do we have any expectations for yourself that were different from before?
Life changes and priorities change, and so with that, I think expectations have to change.
Right.
So yeah, I would say expectations for myself are constantly changing depending on what the priority is, and obviously right now for me, at this stage in life, it's my family.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah, because we talked about you. What's the opportunity you coaching your son?
yeah. That's a no brainer.
There you go.
That's gonna happen one way or another. So
Any room for a little girl coming on anytime soon?
we'll see, man.
We'll see.
We'll see, man. God willing, we'll see.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, listen up. We've had a good talk.
Yeah.
It was all about scoring for all the right reasons. Episode 16, Matt Rush. I got it. Y'all got to see it from my point of view.
He
You
laughing
got
at my
Jayce over
glasses.
here sitting over there. She got these glasses she got from
The meta glasses.
the meta
Trying to
glasses.
get content.
Yeah. She's recording us through her glasses as well, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, we'll definitely have to take a picture so you can see this. Hey, listen, y'all, we've had a great time. I got a couple shout outs I need to give, man. Any shout outs you want to give real quick to anybody?
Man, it's your floor.
It's my floor.
It's your floor, man. It's your
All
floor.
right. I told them earlier I was up in St. Louis earlier this week, and of course I was up there for some personal reasons. But a good friend of mine, coaching friend of mine, Coach Spaz, I'm gotta give you this love. He from the Lou. I asked him. I said, "Man, what's some good spots to go eat?" And so he sends me this information. He says you need to go to this place called the Gourmet Cafe. Now I need y'all to understand something. Chef Lavina, and we'll show a picture of this of her actual uh actual picture. She's a fine looking woman. I'm just gonna be 100%. But she's a chef. And I went into the establishment with my fiance, and we go to eat. Now, me, I love my soul food. And shout out to Mama G's, of course. My, Glow. I love your food. Some of the best south of J City. Just real talk. But when you go north of J City and you go up to the Lou, I'm telling everybody, if you get the combo, like I got, the chicken and the fish, got the fries, and I got some sides. Now they was out of collard greens. I was telling them, how you gonna be out of collard greens around 12:30 in the afternoon? I don't know. But here's the thing: the mac and cheese was so on point, it made me forget about the collard greens that wasn't there. So, Chef Lavina and the staff of Gourmet Soul, okay, just know I'm getting in my car each week, and I'm driving to the Lou just for you. That mac and cheese was off the chain.
I might have to take a trip up there.
Man, you got to not only take the trip, you got to take the trip.
You got to take the trip.
I keep talking about this mac and cheese. I'm still tasting it in my mouth. It's that good. What you laughing about?
You.
What?
I'm imagining it must be really good.
It was off the
Gotta be.
Listen, the taste, the flavor, everything they had. I mean, real talk, you in the Lou, go to Gourmet Soul. It's all good. Good shout out to all y'all. Even to the point the lemonade was banging too. Of course, I had to get the lemonade. But hey, listen, y'all. This is the Lock and Loader Show. You know how we are. We go off the hip. Matt Rush, Ozark Lunkers, we thank you once again for being on the show. Yeah. Jayce, you got anything you want to say?
No, not really.
You just got me laughing. If y'all can see, I'm gonna show y'all this picture later. Oh, great. Yeah, you need to put that camera on yourself. Yeah, go right there.
Y'all see the meta glasses.
New meta glasses, spending all her hard-earned money.
It was a gift.
It was a gift? Okay, I ain't mad at you. Hey, y'all, we are the Lock and Loader Show. I'm your brother Mays.
Jayce
you already know. Jayce, Janae, Matt Rush. We out. Peace.